You know, in this new digital economy, fortunes are literally being made overnight. We're seeing this whole new class of millionaires pop up, and they're not coming from Wall Street, they're coming from their bedrooms. And the epicenter of this whole financial earthquake? Yep, one platform, OnlyFans.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Is OnlyFans a modern-day gold rush? Like a genuine cheat code to financial freedom in an economy that feels, well, broken? Or is there something much, much darker going on here? Let's get into the reality behind all the hype.
Because let's be real for a second, OnlyFans isn't some niche underground corner of the internet anymore. Not even close. It has absolutely exploded into the mainstream, and it's totally changing how we think about content, money, and even what it means to work. So, at its core, the model is pretty simple. It's a direct-to-consumer platform. Creators post their stuff, fans subscribe for a monthly fee. It completely cuts out the middleman, which means the power and the cash goes straight to the creators. But here's the thing. The real disruption isn't just the business model, it's the kind of content that's being sold. Yeah, this is not your traditional adult entertainment. The secret sauce here? It's all about interactivity. We're not just talking about pre-recorded videos. No, this is about personal connection, custom content, and this thing they call the girlfriend experience, which is basically a service that simulates a romantic relationship for whoever's paying. And that direct sale of intimacy, that's exactly why some critics are calling it, well, a form of digital prostitution.
All right, so let's dig into the cheat code argument. Why are so many people completely convinced this is a legit life hack, especially in today's economy? Well, honestly, the numbers are just staggering.
So, check this out. There's this one creator from an ITVX documentary. On a good month, she's pulling in up to 180,000 pounds. I'm not talking per year, that's per month. Just let that sink in for a minute.
And believe it or not, it can get even crazier than that. At her peak, a creator named Bonnie Blue was reportedly making, get this, $2.1 million. Again, in a single month. That's not just life-changing money, that's generational wealth.
And you know, this isn't just about buying Lambos. As this one creator points out, the real-world impact is just profound. It's about being able to take your mom on vacation, to employ family members. It's about hitting a level of financial security that most people can only ever dream about. But for every one of those celebratory Instagram posts, there's a side of the story you don't see. The side that suggests this isn't a cheat code at all, but a really bad decision with lifelong consequences.
I mean, this just shows you the huge disconnect, right? Even earning a fortune, that creator we talked about, was denied a mortgage. The social and financial stigma was so strong that banks literally wouldn't touch her money. So yeah, the income can solve some problems, but it can also create a whole new set of obstacles you'd never even think of.
And then there's the pressure. The pressure to stay relevant in a super crowded market can lead to some pretty dangerous escalation. Just look at the timeline for Bonnie Blue. To stand out, what started as a viral tour quickly spiraled into more and more extreme stunts. This constant need to push the boundaries eventually led to a plan so outrageous that OnlyFans itself had to step in. They permanently banned her, cutting off her multi-million-dollar income just like that, overnight.
And look, the fallout isn't just professional. It gets deeply, deeply personal. This quote here, it's from a partner of someone who subscribes to an OnlyFans account. It just goes to show how that personal connection we mentioned earlier, the DMs, the custom requests, it's not seen as just fantasy. It's seen as a very real betrayal. For a lot of people, this isn't just watching porn, it's straight up cheating.
So, what's the real story? Is it a golden ticket or is it a trap? Well, like with most things, the truth is way more complicated than just good or bad.
To really get what's going on, we have to talk about this powerful psychological trap. It's called survivorship bias.
So what is that? Well, in simple terms, it means we only ever hear about the winners, right? We see the headlines about creators making millions, but we never ever see the thousands and thousands who are making next to nothing. Why? Because their stories just aren't visible. Those huge success stories, they're the exception. They are absolutely not the rule.
I mean, just look at this chart. It shows the stark reality of how the money works on the platform. The income distribution is so incredibly skewed. You see that huge bar on the left? That's the top 1% of creators. And all those tiny bars? That's everyone else. For the vast majority of people on there, OnlyFans isn't a jackpot. It's a constant, endless grind for very, very little reward.
And really, at the very heart of this whole business model is this weird psychological thing called a parasocial relationship. Basically, it's the illusion of a real connection. The creator from that documentary even said that some fans become, in her words, slightly delusional, truly believing they're in a real relationship. And that illusion, that's the engine that drives the whole thing. The subscriptions, the custom requests, all of it.
So after all that, what's the real takeaway here? What does the rise of a platform like OnlyFans actually tell us about the world we're living in right now? You know, maybe the real question isn't about whether OnlyFans is good or bad. Maybe it's just a symptom of something much bigger. A world where people feel economically insecure, where the old-school career paths just feel broken. Maybe it's a symptom of a culture that is relentlessly trying to monetize every single aspect of human life, including intimacy itself.
So now that we've looked at all the angles, what's the verdict? Is OnlyFans a necessary cheat code for a generation that feels locked out of traditional ways of building wealth? Or is it a trap with consequences that could last a lifetime? I want to know what you think. Drop your take in the comments below.